What's up? What's up? What's up, family? It's your girl Stephanie, aka Idini Hastu. Alright, let's see what messages come out. Create us created as a personalized deck of cards for my handmade cards for this read. So shuffle through and see what we have here. Okay, family. What does the collective need to know for their highest good at this time? Divine forces of unconditional love, light, peace, wealth, health, prosperity, and everything good, lovely, and wonderful. Oh my goodness. I've been seeing this a lot on YouTube about love and relationships, and literally, first card I see is manifesting your soulmate or twin flame. You are worthy and you are enough. And you are ready. So you are manifesting your soulmate and your twin flame. Um, so I put that back in, shuffling it again, shuffling again. Now let's get some cards out. It says people will recognize your worth and intentionally downplay it. Okay, and I feel like you've been dealing with that a lot lately. Well, you've been dealing with that in the past. I feel like that time is coming to an end, right? You're now gonna meet people that recognize your worth and they will value it. Okay. This could also have to do with a situationship or maybe a karmic situation. Um, because the next card out says connected at a time when needed. You have ascended and evolved. It's unwise to stay any longer. Only meant for a season. Okay. So, though these people may have intentionally downplayed your worth and all of that, those were lessons that you needed to learn. There was a lesson that you needed to learn in that. And I feel like that is for you to love yourself, to um, not need that validation. And though we in this on this spiritual journey we go through ups and downs and times where we say we don't need that validation and feel and stand 10 toes down on the fact that we don't need that validation, there's still certain people that can slip through the cracks and trigger you, and you're like, well, I thought I didn't care. um but they can trigger that inner child in ways that the masses can't. And so you needed someone to be able to infiltrate that infrastructure, that infiltrate that wall or that you built up, to see how you were going to react, to test if you've really learned the lesson. Uh, but I feel like that you did learn the lesson, and the time for that type of energy and that type of testing is over. Wow, the next card out is you became wiser, softer, and stronger versus bitter, angry, and regretful. And that's because you took the matter head on. You didn't run away from your fears. Yes, it may have taken a year or two for you to get the message. It may took you a while, but I'm sure you know that in previous times when you had to face this particular challenge, it lasted way longer. Probably lasted years, 5 years, 10 years, you know. And that's because the ego and its illusions were at play. And though that energy can shapeshift, and I feel like in this last incarnation of that energy of downplaying your worth, downplaying you, that last incarnation with the karmic partner that you are releasing and detaching from, there was definitely a lot of ego and illusions at play. But you remain modest, you remain steadfast with fortitude. Um, and at times you realize that you were being too hard on yourself. Spirit says, you know, there's so many people that go through that type of challenges, and they're not successful. Wow. Okay. Next card is elegance, not ego, and that's what how you responded to the matter. You responded with elegance and not ego to these people who are operating out of their illusions in their own ego. They projected onto you, and you're an empath, you know. And a lot of times the signals got mixed up, whether it was your energy or their energy, and you were being too hard on yourself. You know, you gotta do everything in modesty and with fortitude, and that's exactly what you did. And that's the reason why you became wiser, softer, stronger versus bitter, angry, and regretful. You know, your approach to the situation and to life wouldn't allow you to just give up and fold, and you pull forth your regal energy, your emperor energy in regards to flighty energy, because I do see the Sagittarius card out here. This could have something to do with the Sagittarius. You may have Sagittarius in your chart, an uninvolved Sagittarius anyway. This may what you have experienced with an unevolved Sagittarius. Maybe a Sagittarius was the person that was the catalyst to this entire energy, and that avatar um, has been uh, reincarnating in your life until you learned that lesson. But bottom of the deck, baby. Okay, the bottom of the deck card really, like, you know, kind of solidifies the message, and it says a no chase contract activated. Okay, it says stop proving yourself to people who can't see or people who refuse to see. You know, again, like the card says, you connected at a time when you needed this triggering because you were chasing. You were chasing too much, you know, and that's usually how the psyche work. For whatever reason, there's a saying amongst men when it comes to women: if you treat them like dirt, they'll fall away, but if you treat them like mud, they'll stick to you, or something like that, you know. And you had to, you know, also go against a lot and recognize a lot of societal programming in regards to gender roles and gender interactions. Again, a lot of ego and illusions were at play with the patriarchy, and just you understanding your patriarchy and the role that you play in it, um, and how you have supported the patriarchy and its with this toxic masculinity, and how you may have um, expressed that within yourself as a feminine energy, as we all have masculine and feminine energies within us. So we were, our masculine side as a woman, or as women, our masculine side may have been operating out of toxic masculinity as well, seeking validation from men and feeling that, you know, how society says they always judge a woman by whether she has a man or can keep a man or this, that, and the third. And, you know, you had to tap into your elegance and not ego, for one. Tap into not allowing external factors to dictate your worth, loving yourself despite what others may try to say. And that's and of course we don't want to be delusional within that, but we also have, again, with the first card out, you know, people will recognize your worth and intentionally downplay it. So you had to get to this point of not allowing other people's opinions to get you down, because they could have been put, they would put up a front when it comes to you. Their opinions weren't really their opinions. Wow. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Oh, wow. Okay, so I feel like this is according to the last few cards that came out, this reading was giving, you know, romantic more than familial, you know, a family situation. But as I pull out these other clarifying cards, it's giving more, it does give more familial, but it can still be romantic, but it's just mainly addressing your core values on self. Okay, this is, you know, so, and those core values will come out whether you're dealing with family, friends, or a lover. So this no chase contract being activated is an aspect of your core values that you need to cultivate. You know, modest and fortitude. I feel like this reading is more about addressing, and I literally just pulled the card reflection. You need to reflect. Is this reading is calling you to reflect on your core values and how much they have evolved and how much they've grown. Again, you've become wiser, softer, and stronger versus bitter, angry, and regretful, because you're able to walk away from a situation that was only meant for a season. Like, literally, unfinished business card came out. Claire, with leaving home and survival fears. I feel like these all address like core values, you know. The deck in which the reflection card came out, and wisdom also came out with that. And remember, you became wiser, so you've learned a lot. Wisdom is knowledge put into action. And again, like I said, you face these challenges head on and you learned what was needed. Okay. I have another set of cards out here, and I pulled two cards from it, and then we also have the bottom of the deck card, and it says Sacred Ecosystem and Purification, and then Sacred Play is the bottom of the deck card. So there's you are definitely curating your a sacred ecosystem, which is why you are, you know, maybe addressing some familial situations. You may be walking away from familiar situations because those are core part of the reason why you have the core values that you are having to release, the core values that has been stifling you, your growth and your evolution. But I feel like you have with the reflection card and sacred ecosystem, I feel like you've reflected. You either you have, you are, or you will soon be reflecting on your core values. I really feel like you've done it already though. Reflected on your core values and all that unfinished business, mentally, emotionally, spiritual wise. I feel like you have purged and pruned that energy, and now you are cultivating a sacred ecosystem. Those situations and relationships that were only meant for a season, um, and that like family can fall into that as well. That season probably could last 40 years, but that season could be that first um so what was that the term, not it's not karmic return, your Saturn return, right? I think each Saturn return is maybe like 30 years or whatever. That could be considered a season in your life. It definitely is a season in your life. And again, that could last 30 years. You may be going into the second half of your second, Saturn return. If a Saturn return is 30 years, we can break that up into 10 years each. Each set of 10 years could be a season. You can consider that a season as well. But I feel like in this season of your current cycle of Saturn return, you are purging and pruning, and that is happening in every area of your life. The sacred ecosystem card says the universe provides me with spiritual energy and charismatic magnetism to attract all beings in need of my light so I can fulfill my highest destiny as a healing presence in this world. Exactly. You got to prune and purge to make room for those who will receive your light, who will receive your healing. Remember, the first card out is people will recognize your work and intentionally downplay you. Those people that are intentionally downplay you so that their ego can be satisfied, they're not receiving the beautiful gifts that the Most High has given you. Your gifts aren't being utilized as they should because these people are operating out of their ego and would rather compete with you and judge you versus, you know, truly getting to know you on a deeper level and understanding the gifts that you have and collaborating perhaps on that, or using those help, utilizing those gifts to become a better person and to draw out their soul purpose, in which they can find out what gifts they have, and their gifts could probably benefit you. But instead of operating in that energy, they're focused more on the 3D versus a 5D versus the spiritual aspect of life. And they're just existing, striving and existing with this. Remember, we had survival fears on the bottom of the deck. You got people operating out of their survival fears. So we have 3 bottom of the deck cards: no chase contract, survival field, survival fears, let it go, and sacred play. So if we just look at the bottom of the deck cards, Spirit is saying you need to let these people that you're needing to purge and prune off of you are people that operate in survival mode, out of their ego. And these are people that you need to let go, and you need to embrace more sacred play and just be in the energy of release. Literally, the other card that came out, remember we had 2 cards, and then the bottom of the deck card is purification. That's right in alignment with the purging, the pruning. All right, let me finish reading Sacred Ecosystem. Okay, you are drawing in the clients, the students, the fans, all of the things. You are becoming magnetic because you are releasing that need for validation. And you're again stepping into your royalty, stepping into your leadership position, and becoming more of an having more of an evolved Sagittarius energy. And again, with sacred play, remember the card being too hard on yourself came out. You're no longer being too hard on yourself, taking yourself too seriously, and you were only doing that because of these people and their mask and their survival fears. And as an empath, you picked up on that energy. They projected that onto you, and sometimes that energy can get mixed up with yours, and again it'll infiltrate. But now you're more alert and more discerning, more in tune with self. So you notice much faster and quicker when an energy you may be experiencing is not yours, and you can send it back to, you can return it to its rightful owner because it's not yours. It says, I accept my place in the greater divine scheme, embracing supportive connections in the spiritual worlds. Definitely, you are being more in tune with your ancestors, your spirit guides, maybe certain passed on loved ones. I've been feeling like, grandmother energies coming through on your mother and father's side, your grandmother's on your mother and father's side. And if you have a passed on father figure, that energy has been coming through very powerfully um, in reads that I've seen, and also in reads that I've done. More so the grandmother energy coming through in reads that I've done, but I've been seeing a lot of promptings from titles and other readings that I watched, that father energy is coming through as well. But connections in the spiritual worlds and in the material world. Again, you're magnetic and you are drawing in connections in the material world as well, with the understanding that my fulfillment and the fulfillment of all beings is divinely intertwined. I just kind of spoke about that as well. These people are not utilizing your gifts. They're too much too busy being jealous, because jealousy, there's a lot of jealousy in the atmosphere as well. And so instead of being jealous and envious and competing with you, if these people will open up and allow themselves to see you for who you are, see you for your gifts, help you to cultivate that, also allow you to help heal them with your gifts. You know, things, you could be so much further along if we as humanity just work together and focus on the gifts that we come in to this incarnation with. I feel like society does everything to keep you from focusing on your gifts, focusing on what is your purpose for incarnating into this material world, from the spiritual to the material world. What is that purpose? And everything that we encounter is for the most part, from society, um, and the programming from we're born, is to distract us and to delay us from finding out and acting on, living in, cultivating, removing any obstacles that may be blocking our gifts. It says, I give myself permission to plug in and receive. I give myself permission to plug in and receive. Okay. The purification card is coming out with the leaving home and wisdom card. Okay. I feel like you've purified yourself. And so those old core values, you're applying wisdom to them to see if they are principles that you need to carry on into the next season of your life. And that goes with people as well, people, places, and things. You're reflecting, and accepting that there's no such thing as unfinished business. I feel like you're making peace with unfinished business. Just accepting it for what it is. Especially, there's you may have unfinished business when it comes to someone passing on. You can't allow that to continue to hold you captive. You need to accept it. The lesson is that you are complete in every moment. If there's something that you were supposed to do or get done, then it would have gotten done. There's no such thing as unfinished business, is what this card is saying. It's a 5 and a 9. There's a lot of changes going on that are coming to completion. Okay, 5 represents change and 9 represents completion. So there's a lot of changes happening. And they're coming to completion. You're realizing that you are complete in every moment. No need to worry about the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, because that's nothing but your ego and illusions at play. You're purifying yourself. You're reflecting on what's truly important, and what is truly important and what you are truly meant to do, you will do. Okay? It will get done. So stop being so hard on yourself. Society may say, oh, you need to be here or there at a certain age. That's a script that was forced onto you. The purification card. Well, let me go back to sacred ecosystem, because I didn't let you know what um, spirit guide and crystal that was tied to this. So the ascended master Cthulhu, and the crystal moss agate are the energies supporting the sacred ecosystem. And for purification, we have Angel Lahabiel, and the crystal is black tourmaline. Okay, and these energies help with purification. Wow. Okay, it says, I courageously choose to let go. Okay, I courageously choose to let go. And that takes wisdom. But again, what is wisdom? It is knowledge in action. And remember, we had let it go as the bottom of the deck card with one of our piles. It says, I release and surrender with perfect trust. I am cleansed through a powerful outpouring of spiritual grace. This feels so beautiful, so loving, so gentle, so nurturing. It's a spaciousness now opens within me. That's what I felt right before, you know. I didn't think of spaciousness as the word, but it just opens. It's this energy from this card gives openness. But that's what purification is. You're releasing those heavy burdens, removing those things that are no longer serving you, which creates spaciousness, which creates openness. So spaciousness now opens within me, beneath me, behind me, and before me. Ashe. With this clean, clear space, that which is outmoded, that which is with this clean, clear space, that which is outmoded is absorbed and reborn as an unlimited potential for manifesting new sacredness. Here we go with the word sacredness again. Sacredness is coming through in each one of the cards in this pile. We have sacred ecosystem. This purification card is speaking of sacredness being manifested, unlimited potential for manifesting new sacredness. And then the bottom of the deck card for this pile is sacred play. It's a lot of sacredness happening right now as you are reevaluating your core values, purging what is no longer needed. It says now is a time of potential and grace. That potential card came out in maybe 2 readings prior. Now is a time of potential and grace, which I amplify, and also alchemy. Okay, you are a master alchemist. This whole reading is given alchemy, but which I amplify and activate through relaxation and release. Remember the first card, I courageously choose to let go. Divine detachment. Okay? You amplify this potential and grace, and you activate it through relaxation and release. So you must surrender. That has been the message through the last few readings as well. Surrendering, resting. You've done the work. You've done the hard part. The hard part is over. It says, I am blessed with the spiritual cleansing and divine protection to begin again. To begin again. You left what you knew was home, and you are beginning again courageously. With wisdom this time, because now you know. You've learned the lessons. I feel like one of the cards mentioned something about, I think it's unfinished business. It says the lesson is you are complete in every moment. As when we were first born, you know, especially in the U.S., you're inundated and indoctrinated with Christianity that says you were born in sin. Basically, you're born incomplete. Again, everything that we were programmed with since birth was created to distract us and to delay us. But as we go through this journey, we learn, if we are conscious, and if we listen to our intuition, if we if we are courageous enough to go against the grain, to actually ask the questions, what is my purpose, instead of being on autopilot in regards to society, politics, government, religion, and what all of the scripts that were downloaded into you. It takes courage to throw all that shit away and say, no, I'm going to create my own path. I'm going to create my own individual truth. I'm not like everyone else. I am unique. We all have a unique fingerprint and a unique energy that we add to this life. There's no way that we can, everybody acting as robots and having the same programming is what was the the um the plan for this, our existence, this earthly existence. There's no way that was the plan. No way. It makes no sense. Why would the Most High create people to all be the same? No. So one set of rules is not going to work for everybody. One way of thinking is not going to work for everybody. There are principles of integrity, love, that each one of us should embody so that there can be harmony as we all explore our individuality. But individuality, we're all not the same. So sacred play, the energies over this is Angel Khalil, and the crystal is polychrome jasper. Wow. First fucking card out. I mean, not first fucking card, but first freaking line of this card says, I have integrity and unwavering commitment to my highest purpose. But I just finished talking about integrity. And also developing your own individual truth. Okay? Unwavering commitment to my highest purpose. I embrace playfulness. This is the sacred play card. Okay? I embrace playfulness as a path of creativity. Okay? And you can do that when you heal that inner child. That allows you to indulge in sacred play. And remember, the bottom of the deck card, survivor fears, helps you to overcome out of that survival mode into thriving. Shifting from surviving to thriving. Okay? I embrace playfulness as a path of creativity, healing, and inspiration. Choosing to laugh opens me up to a loving, protective, and replenishing source of spiritual energy. Deep within my being, there is an eternal wellspring of lightness and joy, and a snort laugh inducing sense of humor. As part of my spiritual practice, I cultivate a willingness to laugh. So the lightness of my spirit helps enlighten the world. We are here to be in harmony with each other, to lift the spirits, to help enlighten the world. Okay? And let's read the reflection, wisdom, and let it go card. The reflection card says you are being asked to reflect on your recent choices. And obviously, any choice you make originates from a core value, right? So that's, again, addressing this reading, addressing those core values. Your core values are the reason for the choices you make, right? It says, what lessons have they taught you. Okay, reflection is the mirror to your soul's growth. Use it to deepen your understanding and intuition. And I feel like you have done that, are doing that, and will continue to do that, or will begin to do that. Wisdom. The wisdom card says, you've been here before. Okay? It doesn't necessarily have to be like previous lifetimes, but again, this incarnation of that karmic energy, you know, you've been here before, you know, different, same story with just a different avatar. Or, you can look at this in many ways. It could be a situation that's a cycle in your life. But again, that all stems from your core values and, you know, purging constantly, taking inventory of that and seeing if it is in alignment with who you are. Because we're constantly growing and evolving. So all of those things should, you know, all of those things are a reflection of what our core values are. And we definitely, if you're on the spiritual journey, have reprogrammed yourself with each elevation, with each ascension, with each awakening. Those core values are challenged, and perhaps in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or if they are solid, and I feel like you are coming, since you are becoming who you come here to be. I feel like you are solidifying core values that will that assist you in that will be able to assist you in each and every level. And I feel like you're just going to add on, and those core values are just going to become stronger and stronger, more surgical in their execution of what is needed. Wisdom, right? Says you've been here before and you know what to do, yet you fear disappointing others. The wise choice may not be the popular choice, but choose for the highest good in this situation. Okay? So again, that go back to choices, reflection, speak about choices, and like we said, your core values are a big part of the choices that we make. At your core, do you feel you're worthy? At your core, have you allowed people to downplay you and downplay your worth? And at one point you did, but now you're wiser, softer, and stronger versus bitter, angry, and regretful at your core. When you allow people to downplay your worth, and downplay your gifts, at your core you may have been bitter, angry, and regretful. But you went into the dark night of the soul and you faced your fears. And now you're choosing for the highest good in any and every situation. One of the cards spoke about your highest purpose. I think it's the purification card. No, was it the sacred eagle? Nope. It's the sacred play card. It says, I have integrity and an unwavering commitment to my highest purpose. Wisdom is allowing you to manifest that. And you're letting go. And the let it go card says, you're being asked to let go of whatever pain and resentment you've been holding on to. It's hurting you and you can't fully be present in your life. If you're holding on to this negativity, release it and be free. Freedom was a main energy that came out in some previous reads too. You are free. You're free. You're freeing yourself from the unfinished business that's had kept you captive. You're freeing yourself from a survival mentality, a lack mentality. You're freeing yourself from all the extra baggage that you've been carrying that doesn't belong to you. You're freeing yourself from chasing validation, chasing people. You're freeing yourself from illusions and the illusions that the ego can create. You're freeing yourself from situations that were once beneficial that are no longer beneficial. You're not allowing yourself to stay attached to what was. And you're moving forward with willpower and determination. Okay, so pulling out some tarot cards here. My minimum, my minimum amount of shuffles is 3. So if I remember, I usually try to shuffle at least 3 times. Okay. Wow. So we have the 8 of Pentacles in reverse, the Judgment in reverse, and the 2 of Cups in the upright. There's been, wow, certain relationships around you. And like I said, their judgment on you is no longer working. These are core relationships. The 2 of Cups represents, really close relationships. And these close relationships have been the energy of people who recognize your worth and downplay it. And they did that because they wanted to delay you, wanted you to judge yourself and put yourself in your own mental prison. And for a minute you did. But the 6 of Pentacles just came out, and you are finding and you are magnetizing equal give and take. You are magnetizing reciprocity in your new core values of being wiser, softer, stronger. Okay? You're coming out of the confusion and ending those toxic cycles with people who are too focused on the material world and not doing the work spiritually. Got the Hangman in the upright and the Tower card. Okay? That confusion is falling. That cycle is ending. That cycle of confusion when it comes to reciprocity and what you deserve, all of that is ending. You know what I'm saying? And if it's not completely ending, you have put a hold and a halt to certain relationships. And that is allowing it to fall and to crumble as well. You're just no longer feeding it. No longer feeding that energy. And now the anxiety that you once used to be in, the anxiety and the heartbreak that you once used to exist in, is done. The tables have turned. You're not experiencing that anymore. The people who projected that onto you, they're experiencing that. Not you. not you. You are you I feel like you have become the person you've dreamed of. The leader, you have become the leader that you wanted, that you desired. You became that for yourself. You reparented yourself. You healed that inner child, that inner teenager, that inner young adult. You've healed that. You are healing that. Healing self, mind, body, and spirit. And it's a beautiful thing. All right. No chase contract has been activated. You're no longer proving yourself, needing validation. And you stepping into this beautiful revelation of greatness. You're meant for greatness. You were meant to lead. You're no longer allowing the judgments of people allow you to be too hard on yourself, which is a mental prison. You are no longer allowing people to have you imprison yourself. So again, beautiful energy purging, pruning, purification. You're being freed, family. It's a beautiful thing. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and end the reading there. I hope that helped in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I love you all, and until next time, peace.